if you are experimenting, you're just going to fly up the rankings.
Well, H2k, get back on track. We'll have to find out. We load up into picks and bans here. Unicorns start off by banning the Caitlyn. Bard will follow on H2k's side. Don't want to let Hillsang get his hands on that.
No, we won't. I thought...
That's a different kind of music.
I was going to say, are we going to break? They're playing us off, Pyra.
I didn't think my casting was that bad. All right.
I know, right? Let's get out of here. Bring in Deficio. Bring in Quickshot.
All right. We'll mix it up back to normal. That's what the headset must have been about. All right, so Caitlyn Bard ban. What's next here? Unicorns, they take away Ryze.
They do take away Ryze. Bard is out of here as well for Hillsang. Now we're seeing the jungle presence as well, and now we're seeing some good old tense building, kind of swelling champion select music. Yeah.
That's probably the most descriptive I've ever actually thought about it. So there you go. Thank you for that.
That's a musical term.
Yeah, no, it's good. Gragas.
It's not just an innuendo.
Gragas is banned as well. And it seems like H2k have gone for the what beat us last game. We're going to ban that out and see if Unicorns can do anything else. It's a very straightforward, very solo queue strategy, but why not?
Why not? Man, Jankos is still lying back in his chat.
Yeah. I don't think I've seen anyone recline that far since like Pinoy, Chrisland now.
Oh yeah, Chrisland always used to kind of. The thing is, he wouldn't always recline. He would just kind of like drop down in his seat as well. But dropping down into the bans is Shen. Once again, H2k banned that in the first game. Will not have access to it again.
Well, we saw what it could do in the hands of Fnatic earlier today. And that's a first pick up Vlad because he was left untouched.
Now, a couple of things out from this. Will we see H2k pick the Swain matchup, which pros will go back and forth on which one's OP. Generally, its jungle presence tilts the matchup, which kind of leads you to believe it's the kind of a skill matchup in that extent, but as soon as one gets ahead, the other kind of crumbles, because a Swain will deal with a Vlad if he's got enough mana and enough presence to be able to do it, but it's not really a Ryu champ.
That's true, but I'm looking to see what Exile can make of this Vladimir as the Karma and the Trundle are locked in. We might still see the Karma going mid for Ryu, but that Exile has not had a chance to play Vladimir. It's been banned by Unicorns 5 times. It's been banned against them once, presumably played a whole bunch against them as well. Not remembering 100% there, but again, he's been mostly focused on Assassins, mostly focused on that, and then when they put him on Mages, it's been like Azir and stuff. The Unicorns, it feels like they're developing a bit more here.
Well, if they lock in the Rek'Sai and lock in the Ashe, this is actually a, you know, when you look pound for pound down the list, jungler, mid laner, you got S tier picks coming out here. Ashe, depending on the team, depending on their playstyle, can be an S tier pick as well. We've seen a lot of Ashe, Caitlyn, Ezreal these days.
Yeah, it might just happen. I mean, the Ashe was not a huge factor in the Unicorns' win last time around, but Veritas did seem to get a bit more comfortable with it as they started to snowball towards that win, and he will pick up the Archer once again. Rek'Sai locked for move.
So far, we have 2 champions that can completely take over a game, a Vladimir and a Trundle. Now what will H2k add to that potential Trundle? They can look for their jungle pick here. Elise is banned, Gragas is banned, Rek'Sai is locked in, Nidalee's available, but
Kindred is still up too.
I don't actually really like Kindred too much on this patch. You basically have to go mid, get a kill, level 3 or level 4, and then continue to just snowball.
That is the Yanko style.
That is the Yanko style.
But you're right, it's very binary.
What he did yesterday, and if he were to pick that with a Swain and get a kill on the Vlad to tilt that matchup.
Oh! We forgot about Draven.
Oh, it's locked as well.
Yeah. Okay, bring out the big guns. And we got Nolof locked in.
So that is damage coming out of everywhere here for H2k. They still have the option to flex in both positions here. Trundle support wouldn't be too optimal right now, but it is still possible if they have to pivot away from that top lane matchup, depending on exactly what the Unicorns pick up. Nara's available for Chachi if he wants him, which is a good matchup into Trundle top lane, provided you remain in mid-Nar for the majority of your trade. Kill Trundle before you ever go Mega Nar, and therefore Subjugate doesn't actually do a whole lot.
Oh yeah. So the last time Freeze got his hands on Draven, Fnatic did not fare so well. He died a total of 1 times in 2 games.
1 times.
One times. It was a very sad death. But yeah, Freeze and Draven is a story that goes back quite a long time. And H2k are bringing out the big guns to try and beat down the Unicorns here. Last second stick away. Unicorns lock the Gnar. And this time, they're the ones that take Thresh.
So, Thresh is a Hillsang pick. It's one of the 3 champions I associate him to be most impactful on. Morgana Thresh Leona with the old days of what Hylissang has been impactful on, and honestly I feel like it's been a while since we've seen him have that impact. Maybe Bard you can start to say he's edging into the games with, just having better performances overall for the Unicorns. But here we go, here's the multi-flex position. Is it Olaf top lane, is it Trundle top lane, is it Karma mid, Karma support? It's all gonna be told to us now, Pyra.
Well, I can't wait.
I mean, this could just be a mid lane pick coming out if they pick the Swain here.
Yeah. I mean, it's a good matchup back and forth. The Ryze was banned by Unicorns, though, so clearly they focused a bit on this.
If they lock this Nami, they are heavily reliant on dealing with this Vladimir before the game gets too late.
They do.
Okay. So, it's a good pick, because they're now able to add damage to Freeze's Draven, as well as peel for him, protect him, heal him, disengage, all of that. You've got a damage threat coming out from Jankos as well, with Ryu on Karma. But if Exile manages to take over this game, then there could be real problems, and it'd be on Odoamne's shoulders alone to try and fix it, unless Freeze can snowball super, super hard.
Well, Unicorns have not had too many games that they've been able to rely on Exile snowballing ahead, but last game on the Karma, he definitely proved he still had some power. He's on a very, very choice pick in this Vladimir.
He's also on a very forgiving pick as well. One of the difficulties Exile has had is he will get himself a lead. Keep in mind that Azir game against Fnatic, where they got him 5 kills, but positioning ended up undoing all of that hard work. On Vlad, it is very difficult if you get that far ahead to actually lose a grasp on team fights. So we'll see how Unicorns can do.
Well, as Sheepy and Prawley shake hands walking off stage, tell us at home who you think is going to walk away with the victory. Unicorns, can they get their first 2-0 since week number 1? Hashtag UOL win if you think that's possible. Will H2k claw their way back in with Freeze on Draven? H2k win is what you want to be tweeting if that's the case. So we'll get loaded up onto the Rift in just a moment. I cannot wait to see how this one goes. It is a big, big all-stakes battle now when you've got the comfort picks locked in, when you've got all the power on both teams.
There is a lot of power in this Unicorns lineup. Ashe, Vlad, Nah. Like, man, this is built to just allow Exile go off in team fights. Normally when we see Vlad comps, we're saying there's a lack of crowd control, there's a lack of this. They have got enough that Unicorns, if they get to a team fight stage and are even remotely even, should be able to deal with a lot of what H2k have. But keep in mind, there's 2 utility champions. You've got a Karma, you've got a Nami to assist 3 champions who want to try and carry this game out. You've got a Trundle, an Olaf, a Draven. All have the ability to carry if they get far enough ahead. And solo carry is what I mean by that.
Yeah, this game could get really explosive depending on who starts stacking things up. Jankos and Move, well, they trade a little bit of blows, but they really are just trading insults to start this off. H2k wouldn't expect them to be on the back foot facing off against these Unicorns, but Power Ponies have shown that they still have quite a lot to play with. As the Keystones come out, nothing too special there. Mostly what we expect. Hylissang this time also rocking the same Thunderlord's Thresh that we saw out of Vander. And H2k prompt up towards the top side. Looks like we'll be in for Australia lanes. Veritas and Hylissang predicted.
Good eye. That was a horrible, horrible attempt, and I'm never doing it.
I mean,
again.
you've been there, so I'll give you the benefit of the doubt.
Are probably gonna
facepalm.
They're gonna tweet me, and it's gonna be like, please never do that. At this point, Unicorns, however, they're gonna find themselves, as you said, 2 versus 2 up in the top side. H2k have been spotted out on that ward. So we'll see whether Vander and Freeze can actually get anything here. They're going to deny the
Vander checks it.
Vander checks it, but
gets
now
no
Vander's late to lane, so Freeze could get punished here. Hilly likely still has, yeah, has Flay. We did see it in action against the Gromp.
All right, so in comes Vander. Freeze did not end up getting punished. And they actually stepped really far forward. A quick volley there. Flay, level 1. Whew. Thunderlord's proc onto Vander. He's got sustain, but it's still just the first level. And those axes are already starting to hurt. Look at that.
Ooh, not only look at that, but when Vander gets Tidecaller's Blessing. Oh, Vander has to be careful. Still only level 1, though. So
I mean, Freeze is doing the most harass at this point.
It's always tense when everybody's level 1 and nobody has second ability here.
Mid lane, they don't have that problem, fortunately.
No solo experience, so Chachi does have that problem in the bottom lane, though.
Yeah, Odo's starting to lean some pain on in there. Move will be heading towards the middle at level 3.
Oh, he's going in on Ryu.
He's got the zone,
Good.
instant flash.
Good flash, but good force on the flash as well from Move. That's what they were looking for. Early gank through, try and get Exile ahead. It is what has been the most successful for the Unicorns. Hook goes wide.
Yeah, if they had landed that, it might have been a different start to this lane, but as it is, UOL actually have got to try to absorb this farm rather than being able to actively fight for it. Big advantage already for Freeze, just showing so much mastery and dominance on this Draven.
Good ward by Exile. A risky ward at the same time. They didn't have full knowledge that Olaf couldn't have been in that bush, so there was the danger that Exile actually just runs into Olaf.
Speaking of, Jankos goes a little far into that jungle to grab it. Blue buff does reset, so it'll be unlucky kind of timing, but actually start to get some things taken away here from Unicorns.
Look where Move's going, though. Is it into his own jungle? He can't really gank the Karma easily right now. He's going bottom side jungle. You get the crab, secure the Infernal Vision.
Yeah, Infernal Drake should play a pretty big part in the early team fights once again. And a lot of Infernal Drakes over on ULCS 2 today. I'm loving it.
Oh, yeah. That's what we like.
Chachi.
This time, it's not close enough to the wall to create that bugged out interaction we saw earlier.
Yeah, well, you know, insurance too for H2k because they've got the Trundle and the Olaf on the same team.
Yes.
They no chance of Trundle pillaring the Olaf.
Because, well, yeah, I guess he would have
not intentionally, at least.
Yeah, yeah.
Talk about anti-synergy, man. Oh, Ryu's gonna throw down the tether, but Exile actually standing in front of the minions and the inner flame won't hit him.
Yeah, it's ooh, Exile. I thought he was about to lose that one. All of the crowd had an intake of breath there as well.
And he comes. Oh, Illisang's gonna have to flash. The axe will come in, and Jankos just doesn't care right now. He still keeps chasing. A lot of damage onto Hillisang. Summoner heal, but this is gonna be first blood, and it goes to Freeze. Jankos pays for it with his life, but Freeze cashes in.
Freeze gets a small cash in, but it's enough for now. That should accelerate a little bit of his laning phase when you look at it. He's sat on 1,500 gold because of the axes he's been juggling, because of the First Blood addition as well to it. So Freeze and the rest of H2k, Jankos knows how much damage he's got here. He has a red buff, has Olaf, reckless swings, everything needs to come in here. It's a good first pickup onto Freeze. It's going to allow Freeze to start this game out on the Draven like you know he wants to. Always got to keep building and building that cash pool that Draven is sitting on.
Exile and Ryu continue to trade a little bit back in that mid, and after Move had been there, not too much more time available on it. Jankos, though, with the topside movement, gives his dual lane something to be happy about. Small advantage in the gold pool to H2k. Freeze will be backing away to spend that hard-earned gold. 1,800, that'll buy a BF sword and some change.
Yeah, Ryu, however, comes back from mid lane, has a lost chapter. It's not a BF sword.
Ah, I was wrong.
It's building towards the Ghost Blade.
I forgot about the Ghost Blade, yeah.
Yeah, that's typically what Draven, or typically what Freeze as well starts on his Draven. Mid lane, we're going to have Rek'Sai and Olaf around here. So Olaf's got himself level 2 boots with the Boots of Lucidity as well. Kills the tunnel, so they will know exactly where somebody is in that lower side jungle. And the only person it really can be would be Jankos or Vander, who is coming bottom side. H2k are looking to dive on Chachi. His Mega Knight is about to expire.
Oh, Chachi.
Does he know? He goes on Odo.
Oh, Odo made himself look real tasty. Meganar's about to go down. Jankos looking to charge in for chasing the line as he tanks the turret up. Chachi knows he's a dead man here, flashing desperately.
He's alive.
And Vander actually takes too much from the turret. Gets the execute.
An execute, not a kill for Visit Chachi, but Chachi got himself out alive. A messy dive from H2k, but it looks like Unicorns want to go in. Couldn't quite get in the mid lane, couldn't quite find the angle. Vander tried to flash out, but it was just too late on that tower shot.
Oh, that'll get them some damage on the tower, but it's just going to result in the trade as Veritas, Hillisang, they've had free time here. Ryu finds Exile once again. They keep trading back and forth. This time the channel actually completes. Exile, the axe comes in. He does heal back up again.
Exile
just kidding on Vlad. Oh, the Hemoplague. It's level 7 right now. Vander comes in. That's going to force Exile to flash back away, though. It's a tricky champion to deal with, this Vladimir.
Especially when you get an Olaf around the side of you, though. Exile has to be careful. Really doesn't want to go too far aggressive there. Does have move, so a really weird situation where both junglers trying to flank in through mid lane from the opposite side jungle. Finally, we're having these tower pushes sorted out. It's minimal numbers have been pushing that down now, so I believe they're going to die at roughly the same time, unless they want to dive Chachi again.
Yeah, trying to zone away with the bubble. This time Chachi just steps right on forward, and in comes Jankos. Freeze cashing in again.
Oh, again. Well, the kills all going to Freeze is exactly what H2k want right now. As this Draven pick, we've seen them use it before. Multiple times it's had this effect. And the cash in from Draven, plus 214 on this kill. You'll see it pop up on your screen. Plus that 300, of course, for the kill. So only a little bit extra, but it's all about investing. Investing in your future.
Well, it seems to be a pretty bright future for H2k if this trend continues right now. A lot of that gold lead definitely courtesy of Freeze's passive. 8 minutes 31 on the clock. Dragon still up for grabs. H2k back to spend that hard-earned gold, and wouldn't you know it, there's a Ghost Blade completed.
And that's a fairly early Ghost Blade. 8 minutes in a scenario where we've not even had Freeze laning the entire time.
Exile takes some damage. I mean, he's able to sustain up so much. He can even afford. He said forgiving champion. You're not kidding.
Yeah. Vlad's very forgiving right now. The problem is, well, first of all, he's not ready to be at a point where he can actually team fight right now, way away from that. So there is the opportunity for H2k and the rest of their team to look to accelerate this. They're going for Chachi again.
Oh, just keep beating him up. In comes the Meganar. There's a great timing, but Jankos, he might not have to care about this. Ragnarok keeps him alive, but the tower takes him down, and courtesy of move, that's a 1-for-1.
1-for-1, and again, H2k, the blinkers are on. They're looking for Visit Chachi time and time again, and this time they get him, but they lose one of their own for it. Freeze! Oh, he got Veritas!
Oh, those damaging axes! Summoner heal, Ash Arrow burn. They're trying to get away, but suddenly in comes Ryu.
It's not over yet. Hillisang
Leash is
starts to
on.
get walked.
Oh, forget the box. Hilly's going nowhere. He's going to hook in Freeze for a good time. That's a third kill to the Draven. H2k, they're rolling forward now. They can move towards the Infernal.
Well, we were wondering whether H2k would take a Lost Lion down on this one and see if they didn't fire back. This feels exactly like yesterday, where H2k get themselves a slight lead, and now they're going to run away with it. 3-0 on this Draven right now for Freeze.
They've given up a couple of kills.
Again.
Chachi just keeps getting caught.
Man.
Odo's doing a great job, though. Oscar Knight for him to make himself look tasty. This time, Chachi's taking the long route to try and get out. The Infernal was not taken, by the way, so H2k are still sitting here. Vander's trying to get Chachi out of the way. Meganar comes in, and he avoids the stand aside. With Exile, this might actually be enough to turn them back.
He ghosted.
Oh, that was a good bubble.
Good bubble on the corner, knew that Exile was going to be crossing through. That would have either forced his W out and made him chunk himself, or forced him to take the bubble. Flash heal from everybody really used in that scenario, and still Ryu comes in from the side to pick up the kill. I mean, H2k in this scenario, there's nothing that the Unicorns can do to get away from them. Even the fact that Jankos isn't even in the fight, he's in the base. Freeze.
He's in his
cool,
element.
calm, collected. 3 kills. Seems like Jankos' little relaxing lean back is exactly what they needed.
Sometimes after a loss like that, you just got to chill yourself out. Dragon's still available, but the teams have definitely been hunting for kills, trying to get more into the pockets of Freeze, and it's just so evident from what he's been able to do. Veritas is actually keeping up with him on gold, though, but it's just this Ash. It brings a totally different type of power to the team.
It's because Veritas has like 30 extra CS.
Yeah.
Freeze hasn't done a whole lot of farming.
Well, he's farming champions.
Exactly. Not exactly a whole lot of farming going on, but Freeze will start farming out fairly easily.
Yeah, and this mid lane just continues back and forth. Ryu did pick up that kill, securing Veritas for himself, but H2k still in a fairly significant lead here as Freeze. Oh, he steps way too far forward into the Ash Arrow, face tanks it, and Veritas shuts him down. Now they're looking for more. Move and Exile, chasing on to Jankos. Unicorns might just get back in this one.
That is Freeze just not respecting Veritas' ultimate in that scenario. No way should he be pushing far forward like that. He knows in the 2 versus 2 with that extra help, Ash, if she hits Draven point blank with that arrow, there is almost no way he can get out of it. Oh, Jankos is dead.
Move. Yeah, he can dive turrets. That's going to be tower now. 12.5 minutes. UOL, they dodge out the whirling death, and they get even more for themselves. Starting to look good for the Unicorns.
And despite the fact that H2k got so many kills in the early game, Unicorns have fired back with kills for themselves and have been farming up at the same time. You can see top lane, there was finally a lead for Chachi, even though everybody kind of just went to his lane 4 or 5 times. The AD carry gap has opened up as well for Veritas. There's 108 CS to 82, so H2k are kind of deceiving themselves on how far ahead they think they really are.
Yeah, I said a little while ago, yeah, you know, this game is starting to look a lot like yesterday's, but then it all changes, pretty much starting right here.
Yeah, arrow straight through. It's that arrow you don't expect that ends up taking you down. There's not necessarily a Bolton in that scenario, but
no, that was more of a Legolas style, point blank.
Out.
He's got long ones, but he's got short ones too.
So how did Jankos die here? He's got
yeah, let's take a look at it.
He just gets flayed back.
Yeah, he kind of disrespected and then the hook.
Hook again. Hilly this time curving it down rather than up. Jankos saying something.
Yeah.
Thought I'm not great at lip reading, but I think I caught a word or two of that.
Cut Vander, H2k. They're starting this dragon, but it's dangerous. They're not ahead like they used to be. See if they can secure it, or if Move can smite it away. How about that? Lantern back to safety.
That's painful for Jankos right there. Move just walks up and smites.
They didn't do anything to stop him.
Nobody stopped him. Nobody did anything to stop Move just walking up and just pressing smite. Man, that's... Can we get the replay on, like, Jankos after that?
Yeah, I think we might need it.
That might be a little cruel.
Well, if he's still unfazed after that, he's definitely doing something to keep himself nice and calm. Exile, Ryu still. I mean, this battle is going to be trading constantly. Every time I see a Vlad, it's very deceptive who's dying.
Yes, it is, but the more you see it go this way for now, Ryu is getting closer towards his Morellonomicon, which will apply Grievous Wounds when the target is low on health, so it means Vlad won't be able to drop super low. Move has got Jankos, or is it Jankos having Move?
Because he turns around.
Here comes the TP coming through. Nami ult comes through.
Oh, the Lantern is enough. They catch Vander, bubble up, but it's no trouble. Veritas takes down Vander. Freeze with the whirling death will not find enough damage on Move to finish him off. Ghostblade to get away.
Look at where Exile is. He is still blocking the route, but Ryu's forced him back up. Exile was dropping low on health as well, so kind of spells the end of this little engage. But again, H2k are dismissing Veritas on this Ashe. They go into a choke. It's an easy arrow to hit, and Veritas is able to just continue stalling out H2k in this early game so that Unicorns still have a lead.
Yeah, it's all started with Move here.
Yep.
He caught Jankos, and you know, he's got the ghost, he can't get over the wall, but they kind of just deluded themselves into thinking they were going to take this fight easy.
Yeah, I mean, it was the reposition that came through. Freeze is off at the side here, so isn't actually dealing damage until now, gets to stand aside and chunks through some of Hylissang, but from here, like, the Ashe arrow has already turned that fight. There's not really anything else you can do in that scenario.
So Unicorns, you know, in the last 6 or 7 minutes, they've managed to basically get 3 unanswered kills here. And H2k, from what looked like such a stellar start, find themselves in a 1,500 gold deficit. They've given up the dragon to the outsmite by Move. They've had basically 3 engages that they just couldn't follow through on.
Well, the thing is, for H2k, they've been so hell-bent on getting Freeze into scenarios where he can get kills that they've forgotten the farm on him. And when they were in the 2v2 to actually fight, or a 2v2 to farm, that's when they got punished by Ashe. Just the arrows coming out, locking them down. Oh, this is always disgusting. This is one of my least favorite things to see. Nah, plus Glimpse of the Void.
Oh, I thought you were just talking about Rift Herald in general. I know he's not very pretty, but that's no reason to be rude.
Hey, I'm not being rude about him. I'm not going to speak ill of the dead, or soon to be dead right now at this point.
Giving him a eulogy before he's dead.
Yeah, exactly.
Jeez.
Gathered here.
All right, so Chachi is definitely going to have an easier time splitting.
And the reason that it always pains me to see it is because now Odo Amne has a lot of trouble on his hands in this 1v1. Chachi is ahead on farm. And now, not only are his autos in Mininar going to hurt, he's got damage reduction, which Trundle won't steal. He's got that added damage onto his autos, so you pretty much count first auto with added damage, second auto is normal but applies proc 2 of Hyper, and the third one hits you like a truck. So there is a lot of dueling potential for Vizicachi up in that top lane against Odo Amne.
Gives Unicorns even more opportunities to get in here and separate H2k. And this is, this has been a concern of H2k is how well are they able to fight? How well are they even able to skirmish? When they get catches, it's been fantastic, but no, not so much the other way around. Move does find himself caught as we say it, but the hook comes out, does not land on to Jankos. Helisang is separated, but Freeze and the rest of H2k are not near enough to try and get the fight.
Chachi was in Meganar, but has just had it cancelled, or at least expired, so we'll run back up to the top lane. He didn't want to expend his TP, so he was trying to run through the jungle. Oh, Vander!
Arrow into hook,
blind?
and he's gone.
Did a ward expire in that bush, or was... I'm going to double check on my screen right now. Okay, there was a ward just in that bush. Oh, Vander killed a ward. So Vander killed the ward and then recalled in the bush that he just killed the ward in. We're going to check it out here. So he's killed the ward already, and he just sits there and recalls. It's just Unicorns predicting what Vander's going to do in that scenario. I don't believe they had vision on him after, on that third hit. He didn't start recalling as it was going. So.
Hey, sometimes you just get lucky. And that was, a 1-2 punch to take down Vander in the blink of an eye. So H2k lose another man here, lose even more gold. They're trying to get some more vision for when the Baron's going to be up and available, but Unicorns shouldn't need to worry about this for some time, that's for sure. I think it's fair to say they're controlling this map quite well.
Considering the start, I mean, you're up against a Draven that gets 2 kills. Everything looked to be going well, but Veritas has turned it back around. He's got 3 kills of his own, evened up on the kill count.
Yeah.
And is way up in CS. I mean, really for H2k now, if they want to get Freeze back in the game, they either need to get him, kills while he's got the Adoration stacks building up, or get him off in a side lane and just farm up for more stacks and just try and cash in a little bit later. Problem is, we spoke about this, Unicorn's team composition is so good for fighting. Ash Arrow into Na, you've got a Rek'Sai, you've got Thresh for some sense of further crowd control, and then there's Exile for the damage.
Yeah, and they're just so speedy too. You don't see this many teams often going for these types of boots these days, but look at that, Swifty's on 4 out of 5 members. Helisang he might be caught, but they're able to turn it around towards him. That's going to be the big wave. Teleport coming in. They've caught Freeze on a hook into the Ash Arrow. He goes. He's burning down. One shield will not be enough. And Odo Amne now bailing out. The Unicorns hit hard. And they are going to find themselves not 1, but 2 kills as Odo has trapped on the Unicorn side of the map.
The arrows continue to land exactly where you need them to. And for Unicorns, it's setting up their fights time and time again. Freeze ends up at the front of the fight. Where is Veritas' arrow that actually comes up? Because it finds him. Oh, it's the hook from Helisang that gets him into a beautiful arrow from there. Ignite was already taken down on Freeze. No chance of him getting away. So it doesn't matter that Unicorns, they're not quite at the time that they really wanted to fight before this. Some of the key items weren't quite there. I mean, we're still waiting on the Proto Belt coming out from Exile. I don't believe had Ash's items completed before that fight, but after the fight, everything has gone right into Unicorn's favor on how they want to team fight for the rest of this. This is looking like such a good lead for them. And honestly, you wouldn't have called it from how the beginning of this game went, Pyra.
No, and it looks like H2k were going to go back to their clean, clinical play, but they've made a number of mistakes now. Unicorns have capitalized, and they're the ones who are really starting to cash in on all of it. 4,000 gold in the lead. You saw they were able to pick up an Ocean Drake. There'll be another Infernal, by the way, so don't think that's going to be dampening their spirits anytime soon. Move is a little bit far forward here in his own jungle, going to get zoned out by Jankos, but even with the muscle that H2k are throwing around this map, it's hard for them to get anything and let it stick. They've not found a kill in, 10+ minutes.
Oh, Jankos, he's going to be able to get out of there. Didn't have Ghost available. Didn't pop his ultimate either.
Chachi's playing with no fear. He knows he's fine. Odo's got to back away. This is going to be another ward cleared. Oh, move. Is able to get out.
I mean, H2k realistically have no hard engage tools. They have like a Nami ultimate, which is real easy to move away from if you've got any kind of vision over the area.
But this is the difference in what Vander's Thresh brought last game to H2k to what Hylissang is doing now. It's not all him. Like, let's not kid ourselves, but those hooks have set up so many picks that have turned fights because they've been able to get quick catches on people. Ash arrows as well.
Yeah.
I mean, they've been setting up basically just, okay, we kill one, doesn't matter who it is, we know we can win a 5v4, and that's pretty much been the story of the last 15 minutes of this game.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, it's also supplemented by a lot of other crowd control. Yes, we saw Gragas in the last game, but it's not only all about that disengage. Layering the engage in this kind of thing, the Ash Arrow, the Na. Yes, we've seen a couple of hooks come out from Hylissang.
Yeah. Well, they're all about the speed move, right? They have their Swifty boots. You have the Proto Belt, which is starting to see a slight drop off in popularity, still picked up by Exile, so he'll have a little bit of movement speed, or rather a dash to get himself in there. Now it's all about the siege game. Miniwave's going to evaporate here, but you know, things are pretty much standard and sitting at both of the midpoints in the bottom and top lane, and Unicorns can look to just keep on pushing and look to keep on baiting and see if they can get another catch that might turn into a Baron for them. Landing for the vision. Ooh, that was a big bunch of chunk onto Veritas. Ooh, is all right. They turn in, and a big Nard from Chachi. In comes the wave, but they are hooking their way right on in. Veritas running wild, but Jankos does manage a shutdown. Veritas, he's not gonna die. Just barely hanging on as a double kill comes in for the AD carry of Unicorns. Exile wrecking through the rest of H2k, and only Vander lives to tell the tale of that team fight.
Everything happened all on top of each other for that team fight. Chachi managed to get the crowd control down first. There was a moment perhaps where H2k had the damage coming out from Jankos, but the fact that Freeze was dead early on in the fight makes it very difficult, and Unicorns continue to expand on this lead. It's not something that, considering the start of this game, that I thought we were going to be saying, but they have certainly turned this game around. Let's take another look at how this kicks off, because move. Odoamne and Freeze go in. The Ash Arrow connects on Odoamne and I believe slows Freeze there. Good Namiel throughout the fight. Actually disrupts a lot of what Unicorns are doing here, but eyes on Exile at this point. Jankos is the distraction for Veritas because Exile is still cleaning up at the side. He does only manage to pick up Ryu after this, but it's way far gone for H2k in these kind of fights. They are not able to dish out the damage fast enough. There's no real way of them staying alive until now, because there's a QSS on Freeze, but still.
I mean, he's learned his lesson, but it took 3 deaths before it really happened, and he's been unable to cash in on any more adoration since the early game. Very few teams have really been able to do this, even in history against Freeze's Draven. Just stop him from snowballing all the way into their faces. So kudos to Unicorns for finding a way here. 135 on the next Infernal Dragon. Unicorns controlling this map. They have options. They can start turning for it. If they force H2k into a fight once again, they should have the edge.
So much of the difficulty that H2k have had is because of this kind of composition they're running. Is they have no hard crowd control from their top lane or from their jungle. They've got some from their support, which is difficult to land. And this is the same kind of thing. Oh, Jankos is caught. Doesn't use his ultimate.
Still, just buy some time. They've got more damage on the tower.
This is the kind of thing that Perks was kind of mentioning, and we were talking to Featherman a little bit as well in PGL yesterday, about these picks that are supposed to snowball, and in scrims you get so far ahead out of the jungle with like an Olaf, or a Kha'Zix, or a Hecarim that end up the game at 16-0, but from there, if you don't continue to keep moving forward on them and get easy kills, they end up dying a whole lot in these fights. So you can see 4 deaths on Jankos. He hasn't been able to continue the good start that he had here. And it's unreliable to carry on. It's very tough to continue moving through a game and just go absolutely huge on a pick like Olaf. You need the rest of the team to be able to kind of set that up for you.
Well, H2k are finding that they can't just simply allow somebody to carry. Unicorns are running them around this map, and it's making it very hard to get back into the game when the siege is constantly on.
And it's the difference between scrims that is talked about fairly commonly now in Europe, that European scrims, people kind of
don't worry.
Just back
it's
themselves
a glitch in the Matrix.
Away. Yeah, exactly.
And we're back. It's like everybody saw that.
I know, right? I feel like, I can't remember the guy's name. Is it the controller with all the TV screens?
Wasn't
Do
the
you know what?
the architect?
The architect, I know. I bailed out of Matrix after the first one. I mean,
I don't think anyone can actually blame you for that.
No, I know. I really was not
stuck through
sold
it because I was like, I got to, but You know what Unicorn's got to do? A real quick Infernal Drake. Easy take for them.
Easy take.
I mean, they're 7K in the lead right now. They pretty much can choose where they want to fight, and H2k have to dance to their beat.
Yeah, well, maybe it'll be the beat of the lobby scene. With the bass going.
Savage.
Boats come off as they go through the metal detectors. Exile just bursts through, runs up a wall, and uses
Oh,
the
sorry,
Vlad ult
you're
on
back
people.
on Matrix references.
It's kind of a hybrid on
I
this.
thought you were talking about how they
now.
were like they lost, so they're in the lobby. I totally missed
It's
the
okay.
reference.
I'm gonna leave the Matrix reference.
Okay.
It failed now. I'm
Let's eject.
unplugging.
All right.
It's been a long time since I've seen that, so I will stop. As Unicorns
It's
look
been a
to
long
bait,
day, apparently.
bait around the Baron.
You can't do it into Hawkshot. Jankos is going to find himself having to run out of what looks like a relatively safe brush. The Baron bait here. There's only one blue trinket, and it's spent. Unicorn should be able to easily pick up Scuttlecrab vision. And actually, Vander's backing away. No, he's got to stop this. There's no way that H2k can afford to spend too much time back in base now that the Baron is under real threat.
Exile's just waiting to proto belt onto Ryu. As soon as he knows he's alone, he's just going to jump on him and force him to flash.
There's a few things more terrifying than a vampire with a jetpack, by the way.
I'm just going to let that stand. I can't argue with that.
I mean,
Seems like you've been playing like Munchkin or something, mixing the packs at that point. But certainly a potent combination. Although,
yeah. Well,
no,
okay, they're both scary on their own, but when you add them together, yes. Now the Baron's getting
TP's
started.
coming in.
3,000 health. Jankos. Oh, they've actually peeled away from this. Jankos is trying to find the fight. Move is very low.
Chachi's going into Mega Knot. They're not actually going to use the TP, so they gain TP advantage from this. They had two options here. Either H2k were in a situation where, look at all the wards behind them in blue, that they could have TP'd in with Chachi, but they're going to look for the tower instead. So they're going to take the tower trade and then maybe bring Chachi in. They won't have Mega Knot for it, though.
Yeah, tower
Ash
does go
Arrow
down. They
through.
get the Ash Arrow. It's Oda Wame.
Now they TP.
And now the TP's coming in around the side, looking for the big flank. No Meganar available, but he's buying enough time for them to get in, and it's exploding right there. Vander going down. Jankos trying to Ragnarok his way to freedom, but Exile, meanwhile, right on top of Freeze, right on top of Ryu, and he's 1v2, looking for some help from Hilly, and that's all he needs. 4-0.
Unicorns come up huge once again. It wasn't a perfect play. They didn't have Meganar available, but it was the play that they needed to take down 4 members of H2k, and now they're going to get themselves a Baron. Look in the base. Exile is already zoning Oda Wame away here. He's not going to be able to set up too much because the minions will die and he won't get the tower, but Unicorns, they're continuing to pile on insurmountable pressure for H2k right now in this game.
We said the Unicorns had some power, and boy, did they ever. Exile, look at this. Vladimir right now has been 4-0-6. The fight starts, the Ash Arrow comes in, the teleports. I mean, it was well executed. You can't argue with that.
Yeah, Odo got out of that. The Mikhails comes out to help him out. And, the rest of H2k kind of baited into Chachi there. They're like, ooh, he's in mini now. We can actually take him. But it turns out Exile jumps right into the fight.
I mean, he speed boosted himself in. Flash goes Proto Belt. And meanwhile in the jungle, yeah, Jankos has run away. Odo's trying to get some help to Freeze, but nothing doing.
Nothing doing apart from Unicorns doing the Baron after that.
Right.
I don't understand that saying, nothing doing. I'm just going to be
they're not able to do anything, so they're doing
okay,
nothing.
that makes
which
sense.
is also the same as nothing doing. It's just an anagram. All right, Exile's going to have to get away from the Draven Axis, but yeah, back to the game. Out of linguistics, in comes the fight, in comes the wave. Hill is saying they've got him caught, and Freeze will cash in finally. How much will they pay for it, though? A triple kill! Oh, my word! A quadra! Exile, can he hunt the Penta? He doesn't even need it. Move's just going to keep him away from the base.
Unicorns want the 2-0. They say, screw the Penta. We don't want the highlight play. Get us the game. This would be a massive 2-0 win against a team that should really have cleaned this out. Unicorns with an impressive set of games.
Pounding in the studio. You can hear it through just about everything. 32 minutes. Unicorns of Love. 2-0 victory on the day. I haven't seen them that happy in quite some time. And what a well-earned victory over one of the top-ranked teams, well, maybe not for long, here in Europe.
Very tenacious victory as well. I guess you could say keep calm and keep farming for that kind of setup for the Unicorns. That's exactly what they did, despite giving over a bunch of kills early on. 5 kills went over. And I mean, they kept farming, kept going. Even though Chachi was under a lot of pressure, just absorbed it in the early game and was able to kind of hold on in that game. And man, Unicorns started getting the Ash Arrows working for them. Exile getting the damage down in teamfights as well.
Yeah, important note for Exile. He played 2 games this series on, well, 1 control mage and 1 less control mage, more like a kill you mage. And he had an incredible series. For somebody that we've criticized so much in his rookie split here in the LCS, he showed up today.
He did. He really did. Against one of the real long-standing, long-remaining mid laners we've had here in Ryu.
Yeah.
Typically, Ryu is a good kind of litmus test for a lot of mid laners here. And, I mean, Exile, it wasn't just on his own move, helped him out a whole lot.
Once again, by the way, I mean, this is the synergy that we know is their strategy for success, and they were able to pull it off 2 games in a row. And, you know, a hard-earned 3 points, well-earned 3 points. They did make it look a little easy in the end there.
Yeah, I mean, at the end, as soon as they had, you know, a 10, 12k gold, suddenly they can just close it out with their eyes closed, apparently. But it was a good setup. I like what the Unicorns brought from their team comp here. And honestly, it worked out very well for them. We know they can be a little rough around the edges when it comes to their pick and bans, their draft. But both games they picked comps that worked. H2k played into their hands maybe at times in these drafts. I actually am kind of looking at these drafts wondering a lot of the times what the goal from H2k was. But nevertheless, Unicorns will be absolutely happy with a 3-point on the day.
Oh, you've got to be ecstatic to take down H2k in not 1 but 2 games. You even beat Freeze's Draven. And in keeping him down after already starting to cash in on those stacks, it was so crucial. The Ash Arrows from Veritas, I mean, game 1 to game 2 is not even comparable. Yeah. Everybody on that team just looked like they were much better in sync. Even Chachi, you know, took everything in stride on the Gnar once he was getting bullied and decided, you know, that's fine. We're going to get Rift Herald. We're going to get me ahead. I'm going to be able to snowball away. And there was nothing H2k could do about it.
I mean, I'm just looking at the team compositions that we've got here, and like you look at it on the side, you've got a Trundle, you've got an Olaf, you've got a Draven. All 3 of these picks do require a fair amount of resources to be able to actually carry a game, and don't synergize too well with the other carries that are here, right? You know, they've got fairly similar roles. Trundle maybe not so much. That's more of a side lane control thing, but when you look at it, there was no real facilitation for it. That you had a Kami, had a Nami, but neither of those picks are great at locking down targets without, you know, the wave hitting from a long way away, a bubble, which is short range, like difficult comp to pull off. And in this scenario, it doesn't work. This is the kind of comp that if H2k had won, it'd be like, ooh, such a good comp. They didn't take a tank. It was a little greedy, but probably made it work with the rest of H2k. So maybe I'm being a little harsh on that. There's a lot of these comps that are 50-50
I mean,
on that.
I think it's fair when you consider H2k as one of those teams that we expect to be able to perform on more difficult compositions. They're a team that doesn't have to rely on really, really simplistic strategies to pull out victories. And you know, it's obviously quite troubling for them to lose to a team so far down in the standings, but all credit to Unicorns. It wasn't H2k losing this matchup. It was Unicorns really outplaying them twice. Yeah,
it really was. I mean, as you alluded to, the Ash Arrows kind of set things up in the second game. It was a whole lot better from them. So it's a strange one because I think we saw Move kind of step up a little bit in this game. We saw Exile step up a little bit. Chachi did a good job of holding down the fort as well up in top lane. I mean, the amount of pressure
you bully a Gnar so much, and eventually he gets 2 items, and you're like, all right, well, now we're going to have to send 2 to deal with him, right?
He got ganked like 3 or 4 times back to
and
back
he died
to back
every single time, but it's fine.
Oh, and there was a couple that he survived on, or at least traded 1 for 1. Like he did a good job.
That was the mistake H2k made, right? Is they gave a little bit more gold back to him, and not just that, but obviously they went a little too deep on a couple of occasions. For now, though, we're going to go ahead and send it over to the analyst desk. They're going to be talking to Exile, and I cannot wait what they got to say on that win.
Thank you very much. It's a bit rowdy in here because things are going bonkers in Vitality in G2. Yeah, we're going to talk to Exile here, mid lane week, of course, and a 2-0 over H2k. Not a lot of people had expected that to happen. What was the key to the win here for you guys?
I felt that we spent a lot of time for training since in the past weeks the results weren't that good. So we tried to improve our training and just play more and focus more on improving basically. And we prepared well, had a good draft, and Yeah, it's
They're
clearly
going,
Something's
loud.
happening over there. We'll give you guys a lowdown in a minute. We're just going to listen to Exile for this one. Go ahead, sorry.
No, I was done.
Okay.
So tell me, what exactly changed then in terms of the practice? Because obviously you've been here in the LCS now for 4 weeks, and with the Unicorns for a little bit longer, coming in the off season. Like, how is the practice now compared to maybe when you started on the team?
The first weeks were kind of messy a bit, and like in the past 2 weeks, the scrims were always like, we had pretty good scrim results actually,
Okay.
but we had problems bringing it to the stage.
Mm-hmm.
So we kind of worked on it, and yeah, it shows off, I guess.
How has it been for you personally? We talk a lot about those mid laners in EU, obviously, and you being a rookie mid laner, obviously a lot of criticism the first couple of weeks. How has that experience been for you?
I don't really care too much about the criticism because I don't really believe that those people really have like the insight that, for instance, we do.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not that important to me. Like I care what the team thinks and what the team says, and I try to work on those points that, that I have to fix.
And it's also nice when you get your hands on Vladimir, of course.
That's a bonus.
That is a bonus. Tell me about that matchup. I was quite surprised about the Karma pick, the Fisho not so, but tell me about that matchup.
The matchup Karma-Vladimir is kind of early in favor for Karma, and Vladimir is just like once he got 1 or 2 items, he's way stronger, and then you can like out-pressure the Karma constantly. And also Vladimir is providing a lot more in teamfights than Karma does.
Yeah, and Vladimir is just...
A well-designed
Vladimir.
champion.
yeah, he's pretty broken, but obviously we got a few replays.
Yes.
First one doesn't really involve you too much. It's more Yankers camping your poor top laner quite a bit in the start. How did you guys handle that early pressure coming in from H2k?
Yeah, we just try to play around it. Wait.
Well, we got the clip obviously coming from the little dives in the side lane, which is very normal. Obviously, when you have a matchup where you get pushed in and early dives. This actually wasn't that smooth from H2k. We just wanted to highlight because you're here, so you can laugh at them now.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw it in-game actually.
And then this one down here.
They tried to shut down Chachi a lot.
Did Chachi, was he calling for guys help me or guys leave it like this because I'm not actually suffering this much?
No, actually he knew what was gonna happen basically when he saw them moving, and yeah, we tried to apply pressure on the on the other parts of the map. So yeah, that was like our counterplay to that.
And obviously, right at the same time, the Vladimir just sits in the mid lane and farms freely.
Yeah.
Gets the 2 items. You go Proto Belt, by the way, I noticed. Something a lot of Vladimirs don't do right now. It's like either you go Spirit Visage into Rylai's or you go Spirit Visage into Proto Belt. Why that decision?
I felt like it's better to just get to the Draven, especially because they had Draven this game, and just try to get as much AoE off as possible. And I felt like it was a good choice in that game.
Yeah, made perfect sense.
Yeah, let's take a look at some more fights that you selected, the Fisho. 4 kills for 2 in the mid lane.
I mean, now we need to get the big Unicorns team fights here, because
Yes.
that's how you guys won the game, obviously. And a lot of it also comes down to the Vladimir play. I think Veritas had a great game, by the way, in this Ashe, setting up some of the picks. This one, though, is like another arrow and then a great engage from Chachi. And now it's pretty easy for you guys to kind of pile on. You joining the fight a little bit late here, but at this point, I mean, this is perfect for Vladimir. You can just sit in the back line.
Yeah, exactly. That's what you want to do. Basically, you want to pop your ghost and just run at the carries and try to, burst them down.
What is the counterplay at this point in the game against Vladimir?
I don't think there's any counterplay.
Good, okay. We got the problem
We
then.
got that settled. There's actually a tweet from probably yesterday saying, oh, Vlad is OP, but then
Leaves it open.
leaves it open. Don't know what to think of that. Another fight we want to look at. You almost had a pentakill. You said I didn't chase for it, but he was also pretty tanky. I don't know if you guys possibly could have killed him. I think it's going to be up in a second.
It's better to just win the game.
Yeah.
This is going to be the fight just before that. Actually, the fight that kind of won you the game, because then after that, you guys were just super far ahead and you took another fight where if we get the replay, it is basically you once again sitting in the back line playing like 1v3 versus Draven and versus the support. And I mean, at this point in the game, obviously there's nothing H2k could really do. I assume you felt the same way. That you guys had basically won the game after some of these team fights.
Yeah, that's true. Like here you can see that we just try to like get our AoEs off, and like as Vladimir you kind of want to pop the ghost and just get to the backline as soon as possible, and try to just kill them. And you're like so tanky that you can.
And then a little trick for everyone who plays Vladimir at home for solo queue, you can charge up your E and then flash Proto Build as well, like you guys actually did in that fight here specifically. But it was one of these games where I feel like H2k just keeps disappointing us, where they're supposed to be a much better team, but then they get these like messy team fights and they start from them, where you guys just outplay them honestly, and then you just snowball completely out of control.
Disappointed that the fish show back at work.
Always.
Player
Always.
of the game, though, Exile. Congratulations on that.
Oh, thanks.
Let's talk a bit about the Unicorns of Love. Obviously, you guys are still not in the best place in the standings. But where do you see your guys ending at the end of the split?
I'm not quite sure because since we improved the training, it's getting a lot better. And I believe that right now we are having really good scrim results. We need to bring that to stage. I'm uncertain where we're going to end, but I believe it's going to be a good result in the end.
I guess aiming number 6 playoffs.
Yeah,
or
yeah,
like
that.
Yeah, that would be a good spot. We are going to check in with what happened over on UOL CS 1.
a lot happened.
I don't even know how it ended in the end, but Vitality was up against G2. I looked over, Vitality was up. There was a Nexus not exploding, yes exploding. What happened?
Basically, G2 ends up taking down the base of Vitality, and they try and backdoor the Nexus after they lost the fight. Perks like TP's in to backdoor the Nexus. He doesn't manage to kill it. Even
35 health on the
yeah,
Nexus.
he tried twice, so he doesn't manage to kill it. They try another time, they again don't manage to kill it. But then the third time, they actually did get to take down the Nexus. And it was a strange game because G2 actually didn't play that well in the early game and were really far behind. But then there was a Baron play by Vitality that went
G2
terribly
lost.
wrong. G2 lost the game.
Yeah, they did. They lost
Oh
the game.
my god, I thought they actually managed to finish in the end.
The
We were
Nexus-
talking here and
the
just kind of
Nexus-
scouting
the
it
Nexus
out.
had 35 health, and then they just ran and
Oh
killed
my god. I'm like, yeah, you know, this in the end they got it. Because like then suddenly we go live here and... Okay, wait.
See, it's not that easy, those the following the 2 streams at the same time.
It's
but
hard to
I
have a conversation, replays, and then a third stream or a second stream going
Yeah.
on. But, well, I mean, Vitality won then.
Yeah, pretty crazy.
Crazy ending then. Go definitely rewatch that game.
Yeah, we're gonna go rewatch that as well. I want to thank you very much, Exile, for joining us, and congratulations. Yeah, sorry, all the craziness.
Messy.
And congratulations on the 2 in a week.
Oh, thanks.
Ah, danke schön. While that's all for the LCS studio this week, we are going to tune into stream EOL Season 1, where they are talking, and actually also going to break soon, about Vitality and G2.